Welcome to the VR Fitness Insiders podcast for the creators who are building the future of the VR and AR sports and fitness industries that will revolutionize the way the world will play sports, work out, and get fit. With your hosts, Preston Lewis and Ryan DeLuca, the founders of Black Box VR, who are building the world's first full fitness VR gym and bring decades of experience from creating some of the largest fitness technology companies in the world. They're bringing together the best and brightest minds to help you and your company succeed in the VR fitness revolution. All right. What's up?
What's up?
So this will be kind of fun. Welcome everyone to our first episode of our first podcast. Things will be a little bit different today. We're going to keep it organic, going back and forth. Really, we want you to know the who, what, and why of this podcast. Introduce ourselves, go over some VR fitness Q&A, and just have some fun. So that being said, yeah, man, take it away. Let's talk about the who, what, and why we're even doing this thing.
You know, we started our company, Black Box VR, about 6 years ago now. I can't believe it's been that long.
Great.
But we really fell in love with the idea of using virtual reality for fitness and just all the great benefits that it brings. And we met so many great people that are also now building VR, AR fitness apps and devices and experiences. And what we realized is that it's not getting enough attention. People need to know about this. There's this like kind of small industry of people that are really building cool stuff. And there's also not a great resource for people to be able to go to learn more about how to build these things, right? You can talk to people on Twitter, you can reach out independently, but there's no single resource where we can actually talk to each other, learn from each other, because all of us together building this new industry is going to help it to be successful. So we want to learn as fast as we can. We want to promote each other and we want to get the best out there, the best practices. And so we're just super excited to share what we learned and to interview people that are in the industry that are building things and what they've learned so we can all do this together.
Yeah, all sorts of crazy stuff. Last 6 years met all sorts of fun personalities. So excited to share that with you guys. Speaking of personalities, let's talk about who we are. Who are you, Ryan? Why don't you tell the world? Tell all of our listeners, man. Hi, mom and dad. Let's tell everyone. We got.
That's right.
I'm sure there's probably at least 1 million people listening to this already.
Oh, minimum. Yeah. I think it just with the counter just went, it's up to 2 million now. Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, man.
So I'm Ryan DeLuca. Previously, I was the founder of bodybuilding.com. So back in 1999, just a few years after high school, started a website for fitness and sports nutrition and it grew really fast to over about $420 million in revenue selling sports nutrition products like whey protein. And it was also the most visited fitness site in the world, largest fitness community at the time. So just learned a lot there about the fitness consumer and the problems that people were through as they're trying to get fit and just all the psychology of that. And just with 800 employees in Preston, we did that together for many years, building it up. So we learned a lot there and then sold the business at the end of 2015 and took a little break and said, all right, let's get back into it. And this is my co-founder, Preston Lewis. I'll tell a little bit about you.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, so as Ryan mentioned, we were at bodybuilding.com together. But to kind of rewind the tapes a little bit, I grew up in a family of athletes. And so I've always been around athletics and sports and I've always loved it, always been obsessed with it. Also, at the same time, kind of a young entrepreneur. Started my business when I was 13, grew it to a 7-figure creative agency in college. Exited that, and as Ryan mentioned, joined bodybuilding.com. Wild ride. That was super awesome to go from so early up to that insane, like you said, 450 number and higher. And along the way, it was just cool to see all the lives changed. I think the big thing also about us is that we have a passion and a calling to do things that are going to change the world and help people live healthier lives. So that passion for tech and helping people obviously helped a ton at bodybuilding.com because we're building the world's largest social fitness communities, the largest fitness content site and advanced tracking app. So all sorts of things, so many awesome stories from that. And we wanted to keep doing it. We saw this stuff on the horizon with virtual reality and thought, holy cow, how could this be used for fitness? Again, like tech, tools, purpose, like how do we combine this? And so, so then we started Black Box VR 6 years ago. And here we are.
VR like 6 years already.
Isn't that crazy?
Goes by
I
fast.
you said 2015 and I was like, what the heck? That feels like
a long time ago.
Ages ago, man. So I'm speaking of Black Box VR. One of the questions we've gotten over and over again as we were building this company was, why the heck are you guys doing this? Especially at the beginning. They were like, you guys are nuts. But yeah, Brian, why don't you talk about why we even did this?
Sure. Yeah. So at the end of 2015, that's when we started to see that virtual reality was starting to become a big thing. It was around the time of like Oculus was sold to Facebook for like $2 billion. And, there's the technology was finally getting to a place that it could be used. And at bottom.com, we were always using the newest technology. We were obviously just internet shopping and e-commerce in general, and then, content and video streaming and mobile apps and communities. We're always seeing like, what's this new technology and how can we use it to help people stick to their fitness goals and reach the goals that they're to reach. And so that's when we said virtual reality. It looked like this new technology that could be really helpful for actually turning your workout into a game and making it fun. So really the whole idea of Black Box is how do you take all the fun parts of video games, the psychology of video games, the things that get you addicted and excited to where you want to play till 3 in the morning. Like we all know, like right now,
Oh yeah.
honestly, my Xbox, I have no idea where it is. I made my
Locked it
wife
away.
hide it. I said, take the
Yep.
Xbox, hide it, don't tell me where it is. Don't give it back to me, even if I beg, because
Yeah.
it'd be just too much time. Where I'm gonna sit down just for a second, play Rocket League or Modern Warfare, and next thing you know, hours go by. And it's
Hours. Yeah.
just such a waste. But how powerful is that? That video games can do that. That get you so addicted to it, and that itch to come back. These great mobile games, and that's basically what we said is let's go and figure out how we can use that and virtual reality, going inside, playing a video game, and actually making it a fun and exciting workout.
Yeah, we also both traditionally have loved the gym. We've been into fitness for a long time ourselves. And growing up, obviously, there was no VR gym for us to go to. And it's crazy to think now about traditional fitness, right? And not to bash on traditional fitness, because obviously everyone has their own thing.
No, we can bash on
Okay,
it.
fine, let's bash
There's a
that.
lot to bash.
Yeah. And the thing we always talk about is that this people can't stick to their workouts. Quitting is the norm and it's unbearable. We kind of joke about fitness studios and gyms are full of literal torture devices.
The first treadmills were actually created for prisoners,
Yeah.
as torture devices. Now we like
Right?
pay
Like
for access to
literally.
them, and that
It's
is what's
so
crazy is like
crazy.
we all know January the gyms are packed, everyone's going to be there, but then the joke always is like the New Year's resolutionaries, don't worry, they're all going to be gone in 2 weeks, and that's what happens every year. Everyone gets excited. They say this is the year I'm going to reach my goals. I got these emotional reasons why I need to lose fat or gain muscle or get more fit or feel more healthy. And they join the gym and all the promises are made. They download some new apps, they get new supplements and diets and books. And then 2 weeks later, they're off their plan and they blame themselves, of course. And then next January comes around and the cycle repeats. And the fitness industry has failed. The stats show like 87% of people are not able to adhere to the fitness program over the long term. And our strong belief is that the only secret to fitness success is adherence. Like,
Mhm.
doesn't really matter what you do. People like get so complicated now. We've seen so many crazy, complicated programs and diets, and they would spend all this time researching and figuring out all these variables, and then they do it for a couple weeks and then quit. Where if you just did the basics and just were consistent every week, every month, every year, you're going to see results, and that's really all there is to it. And that's basically what
Yep.
the biggest thing we learned at bodybuilding.com was that our biggest competitor was the couch, and that's what we're trying to solve with Black Box. So, Preston, you've
Yeah.
been very much into fitness all your life, and now we're exclusively working out inside virtual reality. Tell me a little bit about like what is it like to work out at Black Box, and what does it entail?
Yeah, totally. This is always the most fun thing to do because it's a lot of hand gestures and waving because it's
And
like,
you're doing this, and
right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing that we've had to battle at the beginning of Black Box is that virtual reality is so powerful. But when we talk to people and try to explain it, they just have to go in and try it. Right. And so whether you have a Meta Quest 2 or your friend has one, we highly recommend you just get your hands on the tech, experience it now. Yeah. You just have to try it. So the user journey with Black Box VR as you visit a gym location. You go into your own private booth space that is about a 10 by 10 foot space. And in that space, you have the machine that we invented, we call the dynamic resistance machine, which is essentially this giant peripheral, if you want to think of it that way. In Black Box, your body's the controller. So, one of the things we've always been passionate about is not just cardiovascular fitness, but also resistance training. So, when we created this dynamic resistance machine, we wanted to make sure that you could actually be doing full resistance movements in virtual reality with these movements under tension so that you can build lean muscle mass and get the full spectrum of fitness benefits. So, yeah, so you go in there, you have this machine, you put the headset on, you're in this epic battle arena. You can see the machine still because we mapped it in VR. You can reach out, you can touch the handles, you can touch the bench pad and stuff that pops out. And it's epic. And then as you're doing chest press, back row, shoulder press, squat, deadlift, all these different compound movements, you're hurling projectiles onto this field to defend your base. So I'll stop there. You want to talk a little bit about the actual, like why we chose the exercises and how many exercises and stuff you can do?
Sure. Yeah. So the basics is it's a 30-minute intense workout. We recommend 3 to 4 times per week. And the reason why we can do it in 30 minutes is because you're completely focused. You're competing in this battle arena, and there's no time for looking at your phone or going to get a drink, spending time at the
Yeah.
water fountain. So basically, 30 minutes, you're going to get a full body workout, like you said, with like compound exercise like squats, deadlifts, rows, chest press. Like you're going to get every muscle worked, get great core exercise from doing things like squats and deadlifts and overhead press. And you're going to go basically doing heavy 12 to 15 rep kind of sets. And it's going to automatically change resistance for you. So the one important principle of fitness is progressive overload, where you're constantly trying to do a little bit more. So, you don't just stagnate like a lot of people just pick up the 20-pound dumbbell and they do their bicep curls. You got to constantly be improving that, making it heavier or doing more reps. So we have AI that automatically does that for you. It'll give you the resistance. And as you're getting stronger, you actually get stronger in the game. So you're doing 15 to 20 sets of resistance exercises. In between exercises, you're doing like punch and slice patterns, what we call them, where you're building champions and doing strategy. So there's like this active rest kind of cardio, keeping your heart rate up. And at the end of it, you're doing like 12 to 15 reps. We've mentioned like going to failure. So it's like 60 to 70% of your 1 rep max. So you're doing true resistance programming. And what's great is like we've seen the results that people get from that
It's crazy.
because they just adhere to it. They push themselves every time. We always joke like, I'm gonna take it easy today, just in black box, a little bit tired, but I'm just gonna get my workout in. And the next thing you know, like there's this
Impossible.
rock dude coming to you, attacking your crystal, and you're like, oh, I guess I'm doing another set of deadlifts and a couple more reps,
Yep.
And that's what really does develop the results for people in their bodies. And we've done UCLA studies proving it, showing that compared to a group of people doing black box 30 minutes at a time, 3 times per week versus someone doing traditional resistance training 5 times a week, an hour at a time, got better results, got more lean muscle mass, lost more fat, improved their VO2 max more, their resting heart rates, their heart rate variability, everything, flexibility improved more in the black box group, doing it less amount of time per week. And like, that's the thing that I'm excited about is having fun and getting results in less time.
It's so true. Obviously we're so close to it, but some of these studies have blown even my mind, right? Because when we were building the technology and the volume calculations and the progressive overload calculations and all that stuff, it was all based on these meta-analyses that we looked at, right? It was all based on all these studies, but still seeing not only the results that UCLA has gotten with the black box experience in the machine, but just generally out there, like in the VR fitness world, using this technology as this distraction tool that makes it way more fun, boost the adherence, like we always talk about. Even the results people are getting even are blowing my mind. I mean, this podcast is not all about plug and black box. Obviously, we're just kind of giving you guys the history, but we did a 90-day transformation where we had these two guys go through it and they did 90 days. They only worked out 3 times a week for 30 minutes each workout in black box VR, and they could only use black box VR. And one guy lost 30 pounds of fat, gained 8 pounds of lean muscle mass. The other guy had amazing results as well. So it's legit. And that's when we were like, okay, we designed it to do that. And holy crap, it's actually doing that. So super exciting technology that we could talk about all day. Maybe just last thing without going too heavy on the black box stuff, but like just the data. So you mentioned the data we're collecting and the AI. Maybe talk a little bit about the app and how we use that data to make people have a better fitness experience, give them better results, help them have fun.
So one of the cool parts about VR is, they're inside of our experience. So we can track everything they're doing, every movement and every set and rep and amount of volume of work that they're doing and all these little details that we can track thousands of data points per workout. And we can actually track it automatically for you, which is great because you don't have to like track things in an app or write it down, which is an important part of fitness, tracking what you're doing so you can make sure that you are improving and that you are changing the variables so that you're getting those results. We can do it automatically and just show it to you in the app. So you go to our companion app after your workout, open it up, all your stats are right there, just automatically tracked for you. So people love that. You can see your results graph, like you're getting stronger in this exercise, and here's how many calories you burned, all these different aspects of your program. But then we can also use that with some machine learning to make it so we can actually personalize the program to you and make sure you're getting the right amount of resistance and make sure that it's working for you and you can compare to what other people are doing. So that's one of the cool things about VR is like by default, we're tracking everything you're doing because you're inside of an experience and not trying to do it manually and writing things down. I remember those days, I had a lot of notebooks.
And I definitely did not adhere to those, man. I'd be like, okay, I do 1 week, 2 weeks. And I'm like, ah, whatever. Games are the other side, as you mentioned, right? So it's like we talk a lot about like they're addictive. You have to lock away your Xbox and stuff because it's a treat. It primes our brains with this dopamine response, right? And so as you're talking about that stuff, made me think about how we've also, specifically in Black Box VR, we've shortened the feedback loops because we have all that data as well. That's the cool thing with VR is that you can get all this input data and you can intelligently use it to adapt the user's experience. And because we can track, we built the machine to be able to change the weight on a 0.01 pound fidelity. We can actually give people, you listeners, everyone else, you get incremental progress and not feel like you're having to have all this cognitive overload. And we have family members going to black box VR, and my mom, I think, has completed 21 sessions now, has had a hard time sticking to any workout in the past, calls me after every single workout. I'm just like, hey, I'm feeling strong. That was hard, but it was so fun. And I was distracted. I couldn't believe it was so fast. And she's starting to get those results and starting to feel better mentally and physically. So it's just super cool.
And what's great is like seeing it close to home like that and just hearing those type of stories. That's a great thing about the fitness industry in general. All of us
Yeah.
building AR, VR, fitness and sports experiences is you're creating something that's not just helping people have fun, which is great, but it's something that actually changes their life fundamentally. Some of our members, like just their life just improved when it comes to what they're able to do. We had somebody that went on a trip to Iceland with a group and before would never have wanted to go climb up the volcano because it was like
Yeah.
actually quite a hike and would probably have said, "Oh, you know what? I'm okay. I'll stay back. You guys go do it." But because he'd been doing black box for a few months, he felt great. He was the first one to the top of the mountain, and he's like 48 years old. He's like, I never was able to do that. And so that's the fun part, as we all know, right? Building these things is you can get that type of testimonial, and it creates a lot of meaning, like the importance of what we're doing, versus just gaming or just experiences that are just for fun in general. This has a purpose and it changes people's lives, and that's what we're most excited about. I
Absolutely.
mean, it's probably a good transition too is so
Yeah.
that's a little bit about Black Box, and obviously we'll talk about it more throughout these podcasts, and people can learn more about it by coming into the gym or going to our website at blackbox-vr.com. But what we want to do is also promote just VR fitness in general,
Yep.
help people understand the value of that. Preston, why would somebody want to use VR fitness versus a traditional workout where there's gyms on every block and everybody can get barbells and Pelotons?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, barbells are so fun, right? Treadmills are so fun. I mean, jokes aside, this technology is super, super powerful in a lot of different ways we can go over. One of the things is the fun aspect, basically just distraction. As humans, we're not that great at multitasking. So you basically are having so much fun with any VR workout. There's so much stimulus. Your brain can only focus on a certain amount of things, right? We always joke if a robber breaks into your house and you stub your toe, you're probably not thinking about the toe. You're thinking about the robber, right? Because it's a bigger threat. And so, with this stimulus that virtual reality is uniquely positioned to provide people, it can actually block out pain and the immersiveness can increase flow. And one of the things we talked about is maybe I'll just go on the pain aspect of it. There was this pain study where they had these people that had third-degree burns on their bodies, and they had to go through these really, really painful skin stretching routines often. And so normally they give the patients morphine to deal with pain management. And this study instead put them in a virtual reality icy environment where they were going down this icy river and they had this like little clicker and they were able to throw snowballs at these little penguins. And they found that it was just as effective at pain management as morphine. So right there, a tiny nugget of the power of VR is, as we know, the ability to block out that pain, increase the immersiveness, and have fun. Because a lot of people are really intimidated by, oh, it's going to hurt, or oh, it's going to be boring. So that's one reason. What about you? What do you think?
That's such a good point is we always say if you want to create a habit, one of the worst things to do is create a habit where it's actually painful. You're feeling punished. You're not seeing results. It's boring. You don't get immediate rewards. Everything with fitness is so boring in that way. And like I said, it's physically painful. You're breathing hard or your legs are hurting. And so we can remove some of that misery. That's a big part of just why this can be more effective for people. And that's what we basically seen. And studies have shown other studies directly with fitness. They had a study where somebody actually went into a VR environment and they literally were like lifting a dumbbell. You can
Oh
see
yeah, that's
either like
crazy.
outside of the environment, rate your pain. How much pain do you feel? And then they would do it inside VR. Same exact thing. They see a virtual hand, a virtual dumbbell, still lifting a real life dumbbell. And they rate it as feeling less pain when they're in VR. And then when they gamified that, there's studies that show like if they actually do an exercise, doing any kind of game, even if there's a ball bouncing in VR, just count how many times it bounced, or you're in some immersive environment that distracts you. That distraction made people rate the pain way less than if they were not distracted like that. So it is basically a brain hack where you're
Mhm.
inside a virtual environment immersed into this thing and it makes it so that you notice less pain. You're in that flow state. So that's part of it. The other part is time perception. They've also done studies showing the same thing where like time goes by faster when you're in that flow state, when you're playing a game, when you're using your brain to create strategies and to figure things out like you are in a game. That's why games sometimes, like we always say, I'm only going to play for 20 more minutes and then 4 hours have gone by. Where on a treadmill, it's the opposite. It's like, oh, I must
Oh
have
my
already
gosh.
worked out for 30 minutes. You look down, it's only been 10 minutes.
Oh man. Yep.
Uh, and so that's
All been
what's
there.
cool. Their studies have shown that like, it helps that time to go by. So just right out the bat, working on VR can make it so you feel less pain, which makes you enjoy it more, makes you push harder because you're not focused on, oh, I want to stop. Makes the time go by faster. So instead of like just, slogging through this workouts, you look up and it's already over, which makes you enjoy it more. And the other big part of it is just the overall game. It also does make you push harder and you're actually going to get better results because when you're in a competitive or cooperative kind of mindset or you're trying to strategically win, you're more likely to push harder. And it's like if you're in an actual sport, it's fourth quarter and it's coming down to the wire, you're going to be pushing harder than if you're just looking in the mirror at the gym
Yeah.
and trying to force yourself.
That's a good kind of segue. What are your favorite parts about VR fitness? Like just
I
VR,
think
and it doesn't have to be black box either. I mean, just could be anything VR fitness.
Yeah, that's a good question. 'Cause I love doing Beat Saber. I do Beat Saber for cardio all the time. And of course, FitXR and Supernatural and Les Mills. There's a lot of great experiences. Thrill of the Fight. That's a great one because you get a great workout. You're really pushing hard because you feel like you're getting punched and you want to win. And for me, it's also the social aspect of it, being on a team and doing cooperative quests like a Black Box or things where you're actually working together on something. That accountability is great too in games and sports. When you're part of a team, you actually enjoy it more. You want to perform better. So those aspects have been really important to me also. So not only is it more fun, time's going by faster. I used to do elliptical in the morning and just like try to distract myself with TV or reading. And now the time just goes by fast and I just want to do it again and again because the experiences they're just more fun. And if you want to do it, you're going to adhere to it. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to actually stick to it. And like we said, that's the only secret to fitness success is just sticking to it.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. For me, it's similar. There's a lot of VR fitness titles out there that are great. They're at home. You can just do them from the comfort of your home. And you're kind of just flailing around. We kind of joke, we use the term flailing, but really you're kind of just moving your arms around really fast. I think you look cool.
You
Yeah, but
see a
no.
video of yourself like, yeah.
No,
But you're
no,
sweating.
exactly.
You're feeling
Yeah,
good.
exactly. And so even though you're not doing necessarily like crazy fitness specific movements, you're still moving your body, you're still getting the blood pumping and things like that. And so that's been really cool to see in the industry, being able to just have a VR headset as a super low friction tool to be able to be their first step into fitness. And these people that are quote unquote just flailing around with some of the at home titles, they're still getting a lot of cardiovascular benefits. There's stories out there we're seeing that are people are losing 100 pounds, things like that. So that's really cool. So me personally, I love that it is distracting. It's great for cardio. On the kind of the gym side, black box side, for me, one of the biggest things is the efficiency side of it. Most people don't have a ton of time to kill these days. And also, you just dread it. I mean, being in fitness my whole life, I still go in, I still dread it. And I'm like, I don't want to do legs today. Like you mentioned, I'm like, I'm not going to do legs this week.
Put legs on Friday so you can skip legs.
Yeah, exactly. True. Yeah. But with intelligent game design, whether it's an at home workout or the black box system, we designed it so that you have to do a well-rounded workout. And so sure enough, 5 minutes into the workout, there comes the big guy, the big rock dude. And I have to use specifically the water attack, which happens to be legs. Okay, here we go. I can't skip it. And so I think the immersiveness, kind of the forcing you to do a well-rounded workout and the fun. And I think the last thing I'd say is the data and competition. Data goes with the efficiency, but I don't have to ever think about changing my weights. All I have to think about is winning the game and pushing really hard. And that's awesome because we've all been in the traditional gym and you're on your phone, you're changing the peg and the weight stack and stuff like that. So love the efficiency and the data for getting the results without having to think about it. Um, so maybe, I mean, since we kind of touched on the at home stuff a little bit, maybe we could talk a little bit about some of the cool at home titles.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, today VR and fitness, it really is. There's a lot of great at-home titles, for cardio, direct workout games and apps that are for that. There's ones where you accidentally get a workout, kind of like Beat Saber and some of these other games like Get the Climb and Blast On, where it's like, it's not meant to be a workout, but like you do get moving. That's the great thing is like you're moving in these things and you're getting a little bit of exercise. But there's also treadmills that you can go out there and buy that you can actually put on a headset and be running through a different environment. There's things that are more direct fitness experiences like FitXR, Supernatural, and Les Mills and things like that. There's rowing machines, there's bikes, there's all sorts of cool stuff like that to kind of do an at home workout. And then, of course, our goal is to add that resistance training aspect to it, which today is a boutique gym environment. I'll be coming to a town near you. But that's going to continue to proliferate as we continue to get more locations open and other people also see the value of this and be able to add resistance training. So we're still early days. Like, the headsets are still kind of big and bulky. There's not that much awareness of this out there, even though Mark Zuckerberg and others are constantly pushing the value of fitness inside VR. So it is going to become a bigger thing when Apple releases their headset. There's a lot of people that believe that Fitness Plus will be a big part of that because fitness is just such a great thing for them as well. So today it's early days, but as the technology gets a little bit better and as more people build this and the people that we're talking to build even cooler, more fun experiences, it will become the mainstream way to work out. We'll look back and like, remember we used to go to the gym and just like lift things up and put them down. It's kind of a joke and just look at a mirror or run in place or run outside in circles. It's like we're going to be in these amazing fantasy sports environments and gamers will be the most in shape people instead of the opposite.
I know it's crazy. Do you have a favorite at home title?
I think he's still gonna go with Beat Saber just because it's fun
Yeah.
to get in that fun environment, and if you get a lot of custom music tracks, there's always something new. Love Thrill the Fight and, of course, FitXR, and it's just fun because there's, like, so many different options that you can just, "What do I wanna do today? What's my goal? What am I trying to accomplish?" And there's always something, but what about you?
Yeah, I think my favorite is Beat Saber as well for the variety. If you want to like get sensitive or rage out, you can listen to some Britney Spears or you can listen to some Metallica. You know,
Like,
I
"Are
mean,
you crying
actually,
over there?" "I know, I'm sweating."
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, tears. Um, no, yeah, Beat Saber is awesome because that is one of those fitness ones. And speaking of that, like that flow state wise, that one's legit because it's designed in such a way that it has the music, the beats, the movements, a darker, kind of more
Environment.
moody environment. Yep, like a club.
There's
So
still scoring and leaderboards and stuff, so it's like you're always trying to like, "Oh, I wanna beat this one on this level," and there's some very difficult tracks, so it's like there's always goals.
yeah, totally. And I think the cool thing about the accidental fitness ones is the thing I've been liking about those is that they focus on the power of VR to be immersive, to put you in that flow state, to have the full gamification of mastery and stuff. Whereas a lot of the at home fitness titles, not to knock them because they're still great and immersive, but a lot of them are just fitness first. And maybe it's just me personally. There's something about thinking too much about fitness when I'm trying to just think about the mastery and the fun and the game that makes it hurt more.
Get this many minutes done and get this many calories burned versus just thinking, "Let's play this game." They call it
Yep.
autotelic, where I'm playing the game for the fun of playing the game versus I'm playing the game because I gotta, like, get my reps
Exactly.
kinda thing, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because when they're constantly talking to you about, yeah, do some squats. And I'm like,
No, I'm thinking
okay,
about
I know
squats.
I'm doing squats. Yeah. Versus the things like Beat Saber and Thrill the Fight,
Mhm.
you're just freaking in there. And then, holy crap, come out and it's been 60 minutes. I've had way more mind blowing time dilation experiences like that with games that are designed that way. So I think that's an important note for any of the VR fitness creators listening to this as well is try to start with the end in mind. You're trying to get people to have fun and almost forget that they're working out to get them the results. And so rather than thinking, oh, I'm just going to create what the fitness world has seen
Put it
before
in
and then just
VR.
port that over. Yeah. So I think
Yeah,
that's something
such
I'm happy that we've done at Black Box. Maybe we just end on why the world just needs this.
Yeah. That's the thing
That's
that we're
per-
super passionate about is if everybody's already in shape and the fitness world was serving our needs, then there wouldn't be as much of a need for this. But everybody knows obesity is higher level than it's ever been. There's more people overweight, including kids and adolescents, all the negatives that come from that. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's bad to be overweight because, it might just feel bad or you look bad. And it's not even about that. It's like there's so many aspects of health that come down to being fit and healthy that helps you to be the best you can for your family, for your life, and just build that confidence and obviously be sick less, live longer, all the benefits.
Yep.
That's what we're delivering. And there's more money is being spent on the fitness industry than ever before. Like we all have access to gyms on every corner, trainers, all the streaming services, free content on YouTube and websites. There's all sorts of personal coaching. You can get DoorDash to deliver healthy food. It could be here literally like if I were to order at the beginning of this podcast, I have all the healthy food I wanted just right
Yeah.
here. I know what healthy food is because there's so much content, all sorts of wearable devices that track everything. It's just crazy when you think billions of dollars more than ever being spent on this, and we're actually more out of shape and unhealthy than we've ever been in history. So something's got to change. We can't just keep doing the same thing. And that's what I think is bringing video games into it. That's really is the power of the psychology of video game the world's best behavioral psychologists, we always say, like video game designer. They figured out how to get you addicted to pixels and lights and sounds. And how do you use those same psychological principles to actually get people to get fit on accident, like we say, and enjoy that? And if you can enjoy that, you'll adhere to it and stick to it. And I think that's the value of what we're all creating. And I'm just super excited to interview a whole bunch of people and to learn more from everybody and really bring this together because the world needs it, right? Preston, you've seen the same thing.
100%, man. Couldn't agree more. Only other kind of piggyback I have on that is, like you mentioned, the globesity, is getting mentioned. You always think about it as just like maybe a US thing. You hear all those scary stats, but actually, before we jumped on, I wanted to look it up. And apparently globesity, the global obesity is tripled 3x times 1975, according to the World Health Organization. 40% of the world's adults are overweight and over 13% are obese.
US alone, I think it's like, almost 50% people are obese, which is just
Exactly.
insane when you think about it.
I know. And to hear that that's starting to trickle out everywhere in the entire globe, I think it could be catastrophic for the world if it's not changed. And totally agree with you. Games can be super unhealthy in some ways, but used in the right ways, they can be the brain hack that helps you finally stick to fitness. So, yeah, well, super awesome to chat, obviously.
Oh, I
Thanks
just
everyone
noticed
for.
we weren't recording.
Oh, no,
We did it.
no. I know. I looked
Oops.
at the mic. I'm like, are we
Wait.
actually recording audio?
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Anything else you want to say?
If anybody's building something in AR, VR, sports and fitness, we want to hear from you. So please contact us. You'll see the information on the show notes here, but let us know. We'd love to interview you. We'd love to learn more from you. So we're looking forward to chatting, and we'll be doing a podcast episode at first, just every couple of weeks, not too often, but kind of 30-minute episodes. And then we're going to be expanding that to more often as we continue to build it up. So please share, please let us know your feedback, and we look forward to learning more from you.
All right. Sounds good. See ya.
See you.
Thanks for listening to the VR Fitness Insider podcast. Do you know of anyone that should be on our show or have feedback? Don't forget to email us at podcast@vrfitnessinsider.com and follow us at VR Fitness Insider on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also join our Discord channel. Until next time, keep creating and dreaming up the next big thing that will revolutionize the world of fitness.